My name is Seif Rashidi. I'm an art historian. In 1999, I did an MA in Islamic art and architecture. I'm currently the director of the Barakat Trust, which is a UK charity that supports the preservation of the art and architectural and archaeological heritage of the Islamic world by giving scholarships and grants and supporting a wide range of projects. Apart from that, I also do research on textiles, especially khayamiyya, the Egyptian art of applique work, and also more recently I've been writing a book on the tapestries of the Wisa Wasif Art Center near Giza. But I mean, my own projects are quite diverse, but they're often related to the history of Egypt, especially the medieval and post-medieval history of Egypt. The field of textiles is quite important in the study of Islamic art. They were produced in millions, they were valued, they were traded, they were inherited. There are copies, there are textiles made in one place that emulate the textiles of another. So they show you interesting relationships. And in fact, the textiles I study them. I mean, the khayamiyya, the Egyptian applique work that I study is a textile, but in fact, it's temporary architecture. So the textiles of interest to me are interesting, not perhaps because they're textiles, but because of their uses to create temporary space. And my background in Islamic art at AUC enabled me to understand the architectural traditions of the Islamic world. And I mean, the area that I grew up in, Egypt, in Cairo, the city I grew up in. And my study of textiles is actually a continuation in time of what I studied at AUC, the Mamluk and the Ottoman periods, and the Fatimids, of course, in terms of Egypt, but also in terms of space, thinking about different types of spaces that are also related to the traditions we studied, buildings, more permanent architecture. What I look at is actually temporary architecture made of cotton. Our practical and our professional lives are the combination of our education, our interests, and our personality. And in my case, I've applied what I've studied in art history and architectural history to a relevant but also diverse career, which is related to urban conservation, engagement with heritage, not just heritage of the Islamic world. I also worked in England on the heritage of two cathedrals, Durham and Salisbury, and also education. And so I would say to the graduates or the current students and in the department is think about how you can use your education to do projects that are of interest to you and bring together all of the different facets of who you are. I mean, that's what I do. And I find that I sometimes have to defend why I'm studying 19th and 20th century khayamiyya among people who think that everything good stopped in the 15th century, but I can see links to the past. And I think it's very important to expand the study of history and the study of the Middle East and the Arab world to not only to take in new directions, but also to dig deeper in fields that have not been fully explored. And I think that's what's exciting about being a researcher, is thinking of new things or thinking of old things and well-covered things in new ways.